Now let's come to the present day. Today, about 90 to 95% of Iran's population is Shia Muslim, making it the largest Shia-majority country in the world. Globally, around 85% of Muslims are Sunni, while roughly 15% are Shia. However, Shia populations are often concentrated in a specific geographic arc, from Lebanon through Iraq to Iran, a region commonly referred to as the Shia Crescent. The modern geopolitical significance of this alignment became particularly important after the Iranian Revolution in 1979. After the Iranian Revolution in 1979, Iran's relationship with much of the Muslim world became quite tense, and for understandable reasons. In Iran, Shia Islam did not remain just the state religion, it became the backbone of the country's laws, government, and foreign policy. Iran also did not want its revolution to remain confined within its borders. Instead, it sought to export the ideas of its Islamic revolution to other Muslim countries. According to experts, the most successful example of this revolutionary export was in Lebanon, which at that time was angry over Israel's invasion. Many groups there were willing to follow the leadership of Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. However, Khomeini was not very successful in spreading the revolution elsewhere. After him, his successor Ali Khamenei began to reduce and downplay this ambition of exporting the revolution to other countries. Even so, Iran's revolutionary ideology and desire to spread its influence alienated many of its neighbors in the Middle East. Sunni-majority countries in particular did not want such uprisings inside their own borders, and they have long viewed Iran as a threat. Iran shares borders with 7 countries, yet when Iran faces attacks, none of its neighbors openly come forward to defend it. Armenia and Turkmenistan can be considered relatively friendly toward Iran. However, relations with Azerbaijan are not very good. One reason is the long-standing territorial conflict between Azerbaijan and Armenia, in which Iran has generally supported Armenia. If we talk about Pakistan, its relations with Iran have been somewhat stable but complicated due to regional pressures and the Shia-Sunni divide. Pakistan also relies heavily on financial aid from Saudi Arabia, which is a regional rival of Iran. Additionally, Pakistan currently maintains good relations with the United States, so openly supporting Iran could create problems for Islamabad. Relations between Iran and Afghanistan have also been tense for a long time, mainly due to disputes over water rights from the Helmand River. In 1998, the hardline Sunni Taliban killed 10 Iranian diplomats in the Afghan city of Mazar-i-Sharif. Today, Iran and the current Taliban government are cautiously trying to maintain relations, but progress remains limited. If we look at Oman, the country follows Abadi Islam, an ancient sect that predates the Shia-Sunni divide. Unlike many of its neighbors, Oman has managed to maintain good diplomatic relations simultaneously with Iran, Israel, and the West. Iran's relationship with Turkey is also complicated. Historically, the Ottoman Empire and the Persian Empire were major rivals. Today both countries know that neither has a clear military advantage over the other. However, in regional proxy conflicts they often support opposing sides. For example, in Syria, Iran supported the government of Bashar al-Assad, while Turkey backed rebel groups. Turkey is also a close ally of Azerbaijan. Relations between Iran and Iraq are equally complex. Saddam Hussein wanted to unite the Arab world and challenged Iran. Interestingly, both Iran and Iraq are Shia-majority states today, but Saddam himself was Sunni and promoted a more Arab-centered interpretation of Islam. Just 1 year after the Iranian Revolution, Iraq invaded Iran, leading to the Iran-Iraq War. The war lasted nearly 8 years and resulted in the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people. In 1988, both countries finally agreed to a ceasefire. A few years later, Iran began rethinking its foreign policy. During the Gulf War, Iran even provided financial assistance to Iraq. Later, when the United States invaded Iraq in 2003 Iraq War, Iran did not support the invasion but saw an opportunity in the regional power vacuum. Since then, Iran has become deeply involved in Iraqi politics, with reports suggesting links between Iranian authorities and several Iraqi political parties and paramilitary groups. As for Saudi Arabia, it has viewed Iran as its major regional rival for decades. Both countries compete for influence in places like Yemen and Syria. Iran is often seen as the de facto leader of Shia Muslims, while Saudi Arabia presents itself as the main defender of Sunni Islam. Before the Iranian Revolution, relations between Iran and Saudi Arabia were relatively stable. However, when Iran became a Shia Islamic republic, fear spread among Saudi Arabia's Sunni ruling elite. In response, Saudi Arabia began promoting Wahhabism, a strict form of Sunni Islam, to counter Iran's influence. During the Iran-Iraq War from 1980 to 1988, Saudi Arabia supported Iraq. Pakistan and Afghanistan also supported militant groups that tried to suppress pro-Shia movements aligned with Iran. In 1981, 6 Gulf countries including Saudi Arabia formed the Gulf Cooperation Council with the goal of countering Iran's influence in the region. Over the next decade, tensions between Tehran and Riyadh repeatedly escalated, even over control and political symbolism surrounding the holy city of Mecca. During the 1987 Hajj pilgrimage, clashes occurred when some Iranian pilgrims attacked Saudi security forces, after which Saudi Arabia severed diplomatic ties with Iran. More recently, the Arab Spring further intensified divisions. Iran began portraying these revolutions as inspired by its Iranian Revolution and supported them politically, which Gulf monarchies strongly opposed because it threatened their own regimes. In 2016, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, and Bahrain expelled Iranian diplomats, showing how severely relations had deteriorated. In response to this Gulf coalition, Iran strengthened support for non-state actors to build what is often called the axis of resistance, linking Iran and Syria with allied groups in Iraq, Lebanon, Palestine, and Yemen, including organizations such as Hezbollah, Houthis, and Hamas. Before Hamas's October 7 attack, some diplomatic repair attempts had begun. For example, the UAE restored diplomatic ties with Iran in 2022, and Kuwait's leaders met Iranian officials in 2023 to discuss maritime border disputes. However, deep mistrust remained. Arab states were never comfortable with Iran's strategy of supporting proxy groups. As a result, Iran was not weak, but it became increasingly isolated. It had oil, missiles, and proxies, but when direct confrontation emerged, no country was willing to openly stand beside it. In the final analysis, the story is complex, shaped by religion, history, and geopolitics. Iran appears to be playing a strategic chess game, telling Gulf states it will not attack them as long as attacks against Iran are not launched from their territory. At the same time, it is offering incentives. Any Arab or European country that expels American or Israeli ambassadors would be allowed safe passage for its ships through the Strait of Hormuz, with Iran guaranteeing their safety. Meanwhile, the United States finds itself in a confusing position, facing political pressure from issues like the Epstein Files revelations, rising gas prices, and upcoming midterm elections, while also debating whether the war is being fought for its own interests or for Israel. It is possible that the U.S. may gradually declare victory and reduce attacks, with Donald Trump claiming that the war's objectives have been achieved. However, it is equally possible that new tensions or pressure from Israel could trigger another escalation within the next 24 hours. The conflict has reached a stage where peace and de-escalation are possible, but with Trump involved, predicting anything with certainty remains extremely difficult.